Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, April 19th, and we've got some things moving today. This is Nadex Morning Analysis. My name is Todd Rich. I'm with Nadex. With me from Keep Trading Simple is Brian Caprice. Before Brian and I jump into some quick analysis on potential hot spots in the markets to be looking at, I need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk, and that this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your educational purposes. So the story of the day is the US dollar. It is getting hammered. And, you know, if I know Brian's got the dollar index up there right now. But if I were to just quickly just take a quick scan, I mean, you can see the pound dollar, the dollar's in the second position. So the dollar's getting hammered. The pound is seeing strength. If I let's just pick another currency here quickly that just has the I could have done, here's the euro US dollar. Also the dollar in the second position, straight up. Where's the US dollar is here? We'll pick, I think we could have had one here from the, doesn't even, here.
Go dollar Swiss.
Dollar Swiss. Here, we'll take a look at dollar Swiss. Sorry. My eyes are trying to focus this morning. Thank you.
It's Monday. It's okay. The coffee hasn't kicked in.
Dollar Swiss. Now the dollar's in the first position, straight down. I mean, we can go across every single one of these. The dollar has gotten smoked. So why are we seeing such weakness in the US dollar across the board? That's the hot spot for the day. Brian, I'm going to flip it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see across the board, I mean, euro dollar straight up in the air. Dollar, US down 65. Dollar Swiss down 53, which is almost an ATR for that pair. Dollar CAD down a little bit. Aussie dollar straight up. Interestingly enough, though, euro pound. Pound's got a little bit of strength coming in here, and then pound yen is also up. Why I'm talking about those two, and again, currencies in particular, is we can see that the pound dollar is up 115 pips. So it's over a daily ATR already going into the morning with basically just the European session and the Sunday night gap. So, why that in particular? There's a couple news stories that we need to watch out today. And this is something that I think is providing the best trading opportunity. Number one is the statement about the Bank of England has made a joint task force, or has created some type of a task force, right? It's called the Central Bank Digital Currency Task Force. So it's like a full mouthful. Looks like they are now advancing forward. They are going to be putting in and investigating and trying to create a plan for their digital currency. It's something we've heard about. Why this is important? Again, think about where the UK was. Not even 4 months ago, right? 5 months ago, we were talking about Brexit as the end of the UK. Is the island going to get swelled up? Basically go underwater, like what was going to happen. And we talked about them being at rock bottom. And any type of positive news or progress, we would see pound strength. Where are they right now? Well, now they're leading kind of the charge of like the allied powers of the digital currencies, right? We are seeing their COVID situation. They kind of have the best practice right now as far as vaccinations go. Their hospitalization, death, everything is down. So pretty much everything coming out of the UK is positive. Couple that with a weak dollar based off of some of the other things we've seen, they've been an absolute rocket ship. Now, here's the dollar heading straight down, and I'll explain the dollar a little bit more. But what we're seeing, and again, why I'm talking about the reversal is this is a 4-hour chart of the dollar, right, of the dollar index. Even, again, there's obviously some Sunday time here, but if you look at the ATR on a 4-hour, if you can get 20 cents in 4 hours on the dollar, that's a big move. That's at the upper range of the curve. In the last 4 hours, it's moved 50 cents. So 2.5 times what its regular ATR is on a 4-hour. That is a parabolic retracement type setup. And it's falling into an area where we've had buyers. And the last time it touched the 91 level, it skyrocketed out of it. So, again, you're already seeing a little bit of basing here. So it's lined up there. Looking at it on the dollar, on the pound dollar, this is now, let me go back to, we'll just go back to an hourly, this one. So As you can see, first off, in the overnight, we did have a Harry Potter trade, right? This is a level we talked about last week, the 138, and that's actually where we ended the week at. And then it kind of reopened and kind of came back down again. This is where we closed. And again, it kind of pushed down a little bit and then pulled over, based, and then came back and touched that level. And again, it had hit it 4 times. It was looking for a break. Regardless of news, again, the technical analysis worked. Now, we just went up and we just pushed through kind of a small level that wasn't bad, but right above where we are right now, the 139.50 area, is an area where buyer or sellers have stepped in the past. I think we can see it on the 1 hour. We'll go back. Yeah, you can see it right here. It was an area where we had some basing here. It's not a peak. It's not up in the red zone, but it is something in the morning. So it is an area where sellers have stepped in and really drove price down, coupled with where the dollar index is right now, the Dixie. Those are kind of setting up for a reversal. Whether it happens at the open or doesn't is kind of what we're looking at. So the way the play is for the Monday morning, again, the retail trader hasn't gotten in all this movement. And again, this is a lot of movement. We're talking about 110 pips. That's a lot of movement in just the European session. One of the 3 sessions tends to be the mover. When it's the first one of the week before anybody's gotten in, there's going to be profit taking, because now that the U.S. trader is stepping in, now it's somebody else's opportunity. And if you had all that profit that quickly, the next thing you do is you take profit, right? Before you lose it. And big banks and professionals know that. So they're going to start looking at profit taking. So couple that with a dollar index in a buying area, the pound dollar in a selling area, and the U.S. trader coming online. There's a lot of opportunity for reversal.
Yep.
And remember, one thing we've seen in the last 6 months is we tend to have a very strong dollar trend on Monday, and it's either up or down, and then it reverses the rest of the week. So that's another thing in there, that if this is the trend today, once it stabilizes, maybe it does it at 39.50, but if it doesn't, and it goes maybe a little bit higher, then we can maybe look for a break and kind of a push to the downside. And that's where we start looking at the knockouts. So again, right now, could be a binary open. But again, if we get some stabilization, definitely jump across. And if there's a floor, or if there's a ceiling and a knockout, I would say that that's probably a decent opportunity.
Yeah, in fact, that's what I was just going to bring up real quickly. Just so people are looking at it, and maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow. Just to give you an idea, right now, today, here is the knockout. There's a knockout that's just up a little higher, maybe not as not all the way up here, but again, you're waiting to look for it to stabilize some, because it could punch higher. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If this is one of those things you got to kind of wait and see. You want to wait and see if it's going to make a parabolic retracement move, as it has done in the past. You want to wait until it's finished making it. You got your confirmation, it comes back down. But this would be, there's a knockout in here. Again, if it touches that level, if you were to sell this and go short the pound US dollar, not telling you to do that, but if that's what you wanted to do, and you did this and it touched the upper boundary, you would get knocked out, and it could come down later, and it would be too late. You've already been knocked out of the trade. So you're definitely wanting to wait and see where it ultimately stabilizes, and if it's going to be start making that a parabolic move, retracement move. I thought I would just punch over to call spreads where you're not knocked out, just to take a quick peek and see where they are in the pound dollar. Here, I'm going to go ahead and choose the dailies on this one. You wouldn't want to be buying them. You'd want to be selling them potentially. And you could take a look. There are some call spreads where you're near, where you're getting a glimpse at these levels. Where now here, if you sell a call spread, even if it goes through, you're not knocked out. You're still in your trade. You do have defined risk reward, but again, you want to wait and see where is this. If it's going to punch higher, at what level would you want to choose to go short? And a call spread may be it. A knockout could be it. But then again, as you vote, and if you're not sure about those products, we're doing a webinar on Thursday specifically on knockouts and call spreads. So if you're not familiar with them, please join us Thursday. You could sign up on the Nadex website. You could always go to the binary options, which is what a lot of people are coming here to trade anyway. And I'm looking for the pound dollar, and I should have been able to find it infinitely easier. But of course, there we go, the pound dollar. Here, I'll just choose the 3 p.m. one. Right, you're going to have a lot of different choices in here throughout the day. Thank God you could see that move. To remember, all these going to 0 or 100, it starts turning around. It starts going a different direction. There might be opportunities once it's stabilized, and if it starts to roll over for you to short some of these things. And you can't. And remember, you don't have to wait. If you can sell one of the, it could come back down, and if you were to, you can always take it off early. Don't have to wait until the end to see what happens. So a lot on the dollar, and we went over the pound dollar. Brian, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of talk about in any other potential setups with the dollar today?
Well, yeah. The one thing I'm going to mention is, again, whenever we look at the dollar, we tend to look at gold as the counterplay to it. And again, because of the different news. Now, here's the European Open. We saw that there was an immediate kind of push up in gold, and then an immediate kind of turn around right back again. So, this is purely a U.S. based kind of position. It's not necessarily an interest rate, or it's not a any type of like grander play, because gold really hasn't moved. Silver is kind of coming back flat as well. It bounced off 2 levels we talked about. So it's always great whenever you talk about the dollar, immediately flip over to gold and see if there's a true change or a true sentiment change. And we're not seeing that. So that kind of goes back to, well, what is it that is kind of changing things around? And although we can't trade cryptos, it is important, because as money comes out of the traditional kind of investments, it bounces over into kind of the crypto realm. So I just want to kind of end on that today. It's been kind of a weird 7 days. Last week on Wednesday, we talked about how Turkey outlawed it, was going to be putting, some tightening in there. We mentioned India's proposals up there to kind of outlaw it and actually put 10 years worth of jail time on there for doing it. And again, that kind of supported what we saw. Peter Thiel came out last week. I don't know if it was last week or before that, but Peter Thiel basically made the comments about how Bitcoin is being used as a Chinese financial weapon against us. Over the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw it, but all we saw was, headlines that Bitcoin suffers a flash crash following a crazy week of hype. And there was actually something put on Twitter that the U.S. Treasury was planning to crack down on money laundering schemes involving cryptocurrencies. Now, the agency didn't respond back. We haven't heard any more about it. It is the weekend. I don't know if they're working or not, but it was not a great weekend. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, we got this. That after everybody was cracking down, China comes out and calls it an investment alternative, and it's a significant shift in tone. And you see that, and you're like, what do you mean? I mean, they were the first ones to really outlaw, mining it and trading it. Environmentally, it wasn't good. They were controlling around it. China was like the first one to say, yeah, crypto was bad. And then once everybody jumped on board, now China's saying, no, it's an investment alternative. So it's kind of interesting to see. I don't know what they have. I don't know what they're saying, but I mean, everybody is saying that this is a significant shift in what they originally said that they were coming out. So it's interesting that it's got a week of bash. The U.S. says, yeah, we're gonna crack down on it for money laundering, and then magically China goes, no, it's great. So is there some type of maneuvering? Probably. But again, because there's a shift there, remember, when people see this and all of a sudden, oh, China did this, great, you'll see money come out of the dollar and out of traditional investments to go back over to be able to chase those mega returns over in cryptocurrencies. And again, the reason why we know that is because, again, gold's not going anywhere. It's definitely not going anywhere. And all it did was we saw the pop up, China makes a statement, boom, right back down again. So nothing has really fundamentally changed here. But again, we see the dollar index falling through the floor, right?
Yep.
So interesting how it's all laying out. And again, it's Monday morning. Nobody knows what's going to happen until that retail trader actually gets in there. But again, look for stabilization. There's so many parabolic moves in the overnight. Look for these things to turn and probably retrace back up as profit taking happens. And as we get a reversal of kind of, it's weak now, but then again, everything comes back into fair balance. So that's what I would say.
At some point, in theory.
Yep.
So that's the story for the day. The weak dollar, keep an eye on it. All those dollar currency pairs, potential setup for retracement at some point. Mm-hmm. With that, got any questions for Nadex? Please email us, customerservice@nadex.com. We are very accessible, as is Brian. Anyone's got questions for Brian, please feel free to email him, support@keeptradingsimple.com. Brian and I will be back tomorrow morning. We'll see. We'll take a peek at what happened today and what else is there's to look for the rest of the week. And with that, want to wish everyone good luck in the markets. We will catch you again tomorrow morning. Thanks, everyone.